Viviana De Loera and her husband Marc met in Southern California, where they both studied design in the field of architecture. They lived and worked in California for a decade before making the decision to return to Marc's home city of Montreal.
We visited his parents during, I think, late 2008, and it just out of nowhere, he's like, what do you say if we move to Montreal? And I was just like, sure. The circumstances where we were allowed us to just feel more open about making this big change, and I'm like, yeah, let's try it.
Marc was able to find work right away, but Viviana had to wait for the proper permits before entering the job market, so she spent her time volunteering and making connections.
I was not doing architecture at all through any of these jobs, but I met so many interesting people. And when my husband and I got back to doing design, it almost enriched the way I looked at architecture because I got to work in other creative disciplines.
Viviana and Marc used their skills to accomplish a passion project.
We always wanted a home, and so we realized, let's just start with something small and see how it goes. And so we bought this abandoned garage. And so it was the first time him and I worked together on something. And that was also a revelation because it allowed us to get to know each other as professionals. We realized, well, if we want to do another one, we have to sell that one. So we sold that and we went into Griffintown. It was a row house, and so that was an interesting challenge. And we also transformed that. We loved the bones of that space. It was just gorgeous. After that is when my husband started exploring moving somewhere else where we can afford to do a project bigger, but that also had that same design principle, which is how do we bring back an old building back to life?
And that's when they found the Townships.
I always say Sherbrooke picked us. We met in a college town, and we've always loved that vibe of a college town. And so when he asked around, hey, is there such thing as college towns in Quebec? And a couple of his colleagues at the time said, I've never been to Sherbrooke. So he drove himself around Sherbrooke. He didn't tell me about it until, months later. It's like, hey, so I found this town that could be kind of fun. So I sort of just, let's go.
So they bought an old building on Alexander Street and began their third project. And hearing Vivi describe the process, you begin to realize that there is a fluidity and an openness to their approach. They allow the space to guide them. That's how SOKO came to be.
It was never our plan to open a coffee shop. But when we realized that it was such a cool open space, very public, on the street, we realized, well, maybe we should open it up to the public as opposed to just making it our office. And so it happened very naturally. It makes sense in our lives right now to build friendships by inviting them into a space that we feel is our public home, if you will, right? Because it is our home, but we love sharing the space with the public.
And with home in mind, they have carefully curated the space to feel like just that.
The lounge, living room, reception area, the dining table next to the kitchen dash bar. And then we always wanted to welcome people that need a space to work, and so our meeting rooms at the back.
They offer to the public what they themselves enjoy, whether we're talking about decor, music, or food and drink.
We don't have an extensive menu, but we have the menu that makes sense to us. We taste everything that before making it available to our customers, so we can back it up.
Viviana and Marc have followed their hearts and their guts through major life changes. There's little doubt that another project is on the horizon, but right now, they're happy to be a part of the community.
What and when is maybe in a couple of years. Like we give this space time to fit in, and then we'll see what, again, getting to know what the needs of the community, we'll see what it needs. Living in Sherbrooke, it has been full of more great surprises than even I expected.